Welcome to Quick Rip. Big B here with ya. Hope you're doing well out there, fight fans. Hey, we had BKFC 48 go down Friday, August 11th. The event actually just ended moments ago, live from Albuquerque, New Mexico, as the promotion returned after a brief hiatus, a brief summer break, if you will. Now, there were 9 fights on the main card, including a title fight to cap the evening off. So I do want to go through each and every one. I'm going to start with the main event and work my way down from there and go through some of the insanity and see what we had here in Albuquerque for BKFC 48. Let's go. All right, the main event at BKFC 48, we saw John Dodson, who was 2-0 going into this one. He was taking on J.R. Ridge, sitting at 3-1. This was the inaugural flyweight title bout for BKFC, about to crown their first champion here. And this shouldn't really be a surprise to anyone. The magician claims his goddamn gold on home soil yet. Now, Dodson absolutely ran through Ridge in this one. After hurting him bad early, he's still so fucking fast. 3 first-round finishes in a row from Dodson now. He's seemingly unstoppable inside that squared circle. Now, it was interesting after David Feldman didn't really seem all that impressed with Dodson. And the only reason I can think, and I'm assuming, is because he full out said, what's next for me? I'm headed to Japan to fight in Risen. You just crowned an inaugural champion, and he's off to fight for another organization in a different sport yet. So yeah, I could see where maybe that was it. I don't know. Maybe he wasn't pissed off at all. Maybe I misread it. Just the fact that he didn't actually put the belt around Dodson's waist. He just kind of draped it over his shoulder. Body language says everything in this game, and we've seen that before in the UFC. Either way, though, congratulations to John Dodson, finally nabbing that gold. Flyweight champion of BKFC, the Magician. In the co-main, we had Keith Richardson, who was 2-0 going in. He was taking on Derek Perez, who was 1-0 with the promotion. Now, this was a bantamweight bout, and there's only 2 words to say here. Fucking rock star. Yeah, one and done here, folks. A bullet of a right hook on the button, 37 seconds in, knockout to move Richardson to 3-0. 3-0, and post-fight interview, he calls for a title shot against Reggie Barnett, which I'm 100% in for. I mean, why the fuck not? 3-0, and after that performance, wow. Unfortunate for Derek Perez, kind of on home soil there. That's not exactly how I'm sure he thought his night was going to go, but hey, somebody's got to win. And Keith Richardson did it in dramatic fucking fashion. Now, the feature fight at BKFC 48 was, from what I understood, originally was supposed to be the co-main, but moved to the feature fight, which I have no problem with at all. We had G. Perez going into this one 3-0, and yes, he was welcoming TikTok, YouTube sensation, star, social media influencer, whatever you want to call him. You better call him a goddamn bare knuckle boxer now. He was welcoming Bryce Hall. This was a welterweight feature fight, as mentioned. Now, Hall got an early knockdown here, completely caught G off guard. And I think, honestly, that set the tone for the rest of the fight. Perez was... I don't know. I think he was shocked by the power maybe Hall had. Now, obviously, there was a fairly big size differential here, but hey, it is what it is. Both signed the contract. Back to the fight here. Perez seemingly hurt his elbow late in the first, and now there's no doubt it definitely affected his performance in the second. And then after the second, it ultimately caused the Cutman's Corner to stop the fight. Hall wins his debut via TKO. Absolutely unreal. I mean, you got to give the guy credit to come in here and fight somebody that's 3-0 and number one, actually fucking show up. And then number two, get the TKO victory. It was like as mentioned, corner stoppage, but either way, on the books that goes down as a TKO victory. I don't know if we're gonna see Bryce Hall again. I have a feeling we might, and you know what? Who knows? This could be the best thing to happen to BKFC in a while. Maybe we have a star in the making here in bare knuckle. You just never know. BKFC 48 also saw Josh Moreno versus Jeremy Sauceda. Moreno was 2-0 going in, and Sauceda was 1-1. Now, this was a middleweight scrap, and wow, Moreno was looking good. Remains undefeated with a TKO victory. Sauceda's corner stopped the fight before the start of the second. One would assume a big cut played a part in the decision, but it was never fully revealed. Congratulations to Josh Moreno, moves to 3-0, still undefeated. BKFC 48, we also saw Will Santiago, who was 2-0 going in. He was welcoming Jeremy Holloway. And this was a middleweight scrap. Not really a lot to say about this one, to be honest. No, this was two former MMA fighters turned bare knuckle now. I mean, overall, it was a good performance, I thought, by Holloway. It just really wasn't a fan-friendly scrap the way that I saw it. I expected more from this one, and to be honest, I was a little let down. And somehow this one ends in a goddamn majority draw. Fuck me. I mean, I definitely had Holloway winning this. There wasn't a question in my mind about Holloway taking this decision. I don't know. Maybe I was out to lunch. What did you think out there? Let me know in the comments. Was Holloway kind of robbed on this one? I don't really like to use that term because it gets thrown around so much, but if I ever were to say it might be here. I mean, I couldn't fucking believe when they said draw. It just blew me away. So Albuquerque also saw Eric Dotson, who was 2-0 going in. He was taking on Roberto Armas, who was 1-2 going into this one. This was a featherweight scrap, and Armas gets a knockdown to steal the first round. A late knockdown, stole the first round, absolutely. Now, Roberto looked absolutely amazing out there, to be honest. He had good cardio. He had great combinations. And that was all mixed with high accuracy. It was just too much for Dotson, really, in the end, especially the early rounds where Roberto Armas just absolutely put it on him. In the end, Armas grabs the unanimous decision victory here. Congratulations to him. Hands Eric Dotson his first loss inside that squared circle. We also saw Donald Sanchez, who was 0-1. He was taking on Blake Lacaze, who was 1-2. And this was a middleweight fight. Now, I've got a bit to say about this one. I'll get into it here as a moth flies by. Sanchez scored the knockdown in the first, and realistically, he was getting inside the super tall Lacaze. And I mean, Blake had success sometimes, but only when he would utilize his jab. I mean, I thought it was a great scrap overall. Sanchez takes the unanimous decision, but I do want to talk just a little bit about Blake Lacaze because he reminds me a lot of James Vick in MMA there, where he was super tall for his weight division. He had a reach advantage over damn near everybody that he faced, but he just didn't utilize it. And I see the same thing in Blake here. The times where he does utilize it, Sanchez didn't have a chance. It was just jab to the nose, right? Um, if Blake is going to continue, now this loss puts him at 1-3. But if he is going to continue in any kind of combat sports, he's got to learn to utilize that massive reach advantage that he does have. All right, on to the lone female fight of the night. We had Sydney Smith, who was 1-0. She was taking on Melanie Shaw, who was also 1-0 with the promotion. Now, this was a women's strawweight bout, and what a wild fucking start to this one. We had bombs being thrown, we had lights going out, we had a knockdown, and some fucking hair pulling. It was a crazy first round. Let me tell you, it was a crazy fucking fight overall. Um, I mean, holy fuck. That's pretty much the only words I can say for this fight is holy fuck. Things slowed a little bit in the second and the third, understandably, because that first round was just a bomb going off. Shaw was getting inside a lot, and that's where she found her success. Now, after 5 rounds of brutal battle here, Shaw takes the unanimous decision. Both fighters, they absolutely fought their asses off. My respect level for both women has gone through the roof after this scrap, and you can tell by how beat up both of them look. I mean, Melanie Shaw is the winner, and she looks like she belongs in some kind of fucking horror movie. And you look at Sydney Smith, and it's no better. Absolutely crazy. I mean, these women put it on the line for us, and honestly, we as fans couldn't ask for more. Now, opening up the main card at BKFC 48, we saw Mark Ettenberg, who was making his debut. He was facing Derek Gates, who was 1-2 going in here. This was a featherweight scrap. Now, we had count them, 3 fucking knockdowns for Ettenberg. Then Gates scores his own knockdown, and this was all in the first round. What a way to open up a card. Now, Mark Ettenberg ends Gates' evening early, though. This was in the second. A knuckle directly to the eyeball is what ends the fight. Like, I could just feel that pain. I mean, a knuckle directly to the eyeball, it's... Oh, ouch. Ouch. But as I said, what a way to fucking open up the card. And impressive debut from Ettenberg. I'm actually looking forward to seeing him again, and seeing what his future turns out to be here. So there we have it, BKFC 48, Albuquerque, New Mexico. It was a good night of fights. There were a few decisions in there which felt long, but realistically, looking at the results now here and thinking back on it, it was a damn good night of fights. And I'm glad that BKFC is back, and they've got more action for us coming up soon. We got the Prospect Series as well as BKFC 49 all going down this month still. So be on the lookout for that. Like to thank you for joining me here. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't. Stay up to date everything BKFC here on the Bowls, Beers, and Brawls channel. Till next time, everybody, take care and peace.